City, the gambling capital of the world, home of glamour, glitz, and a whole lot of poker chips. T.J. Cloutier is the Phil Mickelson of the poker world. He's never won the big one. Could this be the year T.J. finally breaks through?
You only have to break one person in the tournament to win it, and that's the last one.
Phil Hellmuth knows a little bit about that after winning here in 1989.
Hellmuth wins the championship.
Today, he faces a different challenge. His arch nemesis, Sam Grizzle.
I have been in one fist fight since I was 10 years old, and it was with Sam. Ow!
This time, they're fighting for $2.5 million and the coveted gold bracelet.
I just want the bracelet so bad. Give me the bracelet.
So let's shuffle up and deal. This is the 2003 World Series of Poker. Day 2 of the World Series of Poker about to get underway. Annie Duke survived the first day with nearly $35,000. Phil Ivey is among the chip leaders in 6th place. And two-time winner of this event, Johnny Chan, still around. All eyes focused on the largest cash prize of any competition. Hello, everybody. I'm Lon McCarron, along with sports columnist and tournament player Norman Chad. A record number 839 players, $10,000 buy-in to get into the tournament. And now we have less than half the field remaining. Day 1 was unkind to past champions, 5 of them biting the dust. But today at our featured table, lucky enough to have one of the former champions there, Phil Hellmuth. He was the youngest world champion, and also T.J. Cloutier, one of the more dominating players in the world, but Norm, he's never won here.
Indeed, and T.J. is considered perhaps the greatest player never to have won the World Series. Been runner-up several times, most recently in 2000, and he is very beloved by his peers. Phil was 24 years old when he won the world title in 1989, and Phil, well, not as beloved by his peers, the bad boy of the game, considered the John McEnroe of poker.
It should be interesting clash of minds indeed as we get to our featured table. 9 seats at the table, and one of them is filled by Phil Hellmuth, the bad boy himself. In seat number 8, he comes in at 16th position, had a pretty good day 1. T.J. Cloutier also here in seat number 1. He's got a great record coming into
good
this.
sign for a T.J. When he makes it past day 1 in this tournament, he's done that 6 times. He has made it to the final table 4 of those times, so this is a good sign for him.
A look at the whole cards of Phil Hellmuth with a matched ace-8.
And Phil will be in the pot. You got to root for T.J. against Phil. He's won more than 50 tournaments lifetime, but never this one, and he just handles himself so well. He comes in with Jack 10.
Keep an eye on that percentage shown on the screen. That is the percentage that player will have the best cards at the end of the hand should they all stay in, and we see it just switch to Cloutier.
Switch because on the flop, T.J. now has a pair of jacks, so he has the overwhelming lead in the hand. Both players check.
Now we've got the 4th card, which is also called the turn card, and it is another jack, 3 jacks for T.J. And he will bet.
The check mark there will indicate which player will have the winning hand if both players stay until the end. So T.J. has essentially just clinched this hand if they're both in at the end. Phil says, I'm not going to be in at the end. He folds.
So T.J. Cloutier starts out our second day with a win over Phil Hellmuth and our No Limit Texas Hold'em Championship. Here's how you play No Limit Texas Hold'em. Everyone is dealt 2 cards face down. Players then bet, and for the first time must decide whether they're in or they're out. Next comes the flop. 3 community cards placed face up in the middle of the table that everyone can use. Players bet again. The dealer then reveals the turn, another community card, also called 4th Street. After another round of betting, the final community card is dealt. This is called the River, or 5th Street. One last time, players bet. Then reveal their cards. The best 5-card hand wins. But this is No Limit Hold'em.
All in.
And at any time, a player can go all in and bet everything he has. So at the World Series, every hand could be the hand that makes you or breaks you. So those are the ground rules as we continue play here on day 2. T.J. Cloutier coming off a win, silencing Phil Hellmuth just a little bit as we continue the action here at our featured table.
This is T.J. Cloutier right here, one of the best poker players in the world.
He was winning poker tournaments before I was born.
Looks like we've hired a sideline reporter, Lon.
No, Phil.
Did I say silenced, Phil? No.
I'm old, just not that old.
T.J. Cloutier has $3 million on the all-time money list. Only 3 of us do, so you get to watch T.J. and I play today. We both have over $3 million.
In the meantime, y'all keep talking, I'm bust all of you.
Sam Grizzle likes to talk too. The third big money winner, by the way, on that list is Johnny Chan.
And the $3 million club as we get the hand dealt. And it looks like Sam Grizzle wants to play with a King-Jack offsuit.
King-Jack offsuit, not your best starting hand in the world, but playable for Sam.
7,000.
And Phil Hellmuth is going to play, and it's going to raise 7,000.
These guys have some history with each other, Lon. Just a couple of years ago in this very casino downstairs, they got in a dispute at a table, and they took it outside, just like they would in the movies, and Sam decked Phil. You got to like Sam's chances in any fist fight, even though Phil's a lot bigger.
I think you're right. Probably takes care of himself outside just like he does at the table. Real scrappy player. Here comes the flop now. It's King 3 and 5, and immediately a pair of kings to Sam.
Yeah, he's turned the King-Jack offsuit into a lot better looking hand in a hurry. His pair of kings now better than Phil's ace-queen in the hole.
Sam Grizzle now figuring out his philosophy on this hand, and it is big.
21.75.
Over 21,000. He's going all in.
So he goes all in, and now Phil Hellmuth has got to decide what he wants to do.
I'm moving all in the dark.
Poker players tend to be stubborn. They take things personally. They don't let things go. And Phil has a chance here also to eliminate the man he doesn't like because he's all in. And Phil now sees what he's up against, a pair of kings. So Phil's going to need an ace or running queens to take Sam out of this tournament.
Here comes the turn card. It's another king, and the 3 kings is going to sink Phil Hellmuth.
What happened? No.
3 kings for Sam Grizzle gives him the hand in round 1 against Hellmuth.
How bad did they play? This is the World Series of Poker.
And there is the signature Phil Hellmuth. Boy, they took away my chips response, and he's not happy.
Thank you. Keep them big chips in front where I can see them.
And Sam starts the needle. He has a variety of needles, even though he's not licensed.
Hey, I make a run through the border about 4 more times. I have all them beautiful chips. Phil will say, oh my God, let me go butt my head against the wall.
Welcome back to the World Series of Poker in Las Vegas. You're looking at Barry Greenstein, the chip leader, coming into day 2. You think he's in the driver's seat, right? Well, wrong. Nobody has ever won this tourney after leading on day 1.
I probably won't win either, so the trend will continue.
And at last count, his day 1 run has not held up, finding lots of trouble here today. Trailing Barry by about 25,000 was an investor from Houston named Sam Farha. Being among the chip leaders has been a curse to him as well. Then there is 26-year-old Phil Ivey, some calling him the next great poker superstar. He's a winner of several events already in his short career. He began the day with about 66,000 and has already made his presence felt, having doubled his chips so far today. Featured table, the intensity level up just a notch. Redlining now between Phil and Sam Grizzle.
Such a terrible play. Put all his money in the big one with King-Jack.
Let it go, Phil.
Sam, you got me talking to myself. Nice hand. Good play. You deserve it.
What he means is not a nice hand, bad
Really
play. You don't deserve it.
Talking about the last hand where Sam Grizzle took down Phil Hellmuth with a offsuit.
And we fired our cannons, but Phil kept a-coming. All the way to the Gulf of Mexico.
Getting a serenade now.
We fired once more and he began a running.
A unique individual.
All the way to Badgerland, Wisconsin.
Phil now lives in Palo Alto, California, but he is from Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, we got a poker game going on here as well.
We do, and Phil actually has a good hand with
Well,
King
I'm a little
9.
hot, Sam. Let me raise it again.
TJ just looks frustrated. He looks like he wants to hit somebody, like when he was playing tight end in the Canadian Football League. But he's just going to have to wait.
Sam Grizzle, is he? Well, he's got the cards again. Two
Squeezes
jacks.
out 2 jacks.
Oh, this is going to be very interesting.
Just calls. So they're going to go heads up once more.
They cannot get away from each other, and it's a choice they each are making. And there is the flop with a 10, 9, and 2. A couple of hearts.
A decent flop for Phil. He has a pair of 9s now and a heart draw. He's still behind Sam. He's betting, though. He's got to believe he's got the lead with a pair of 9s and a heart draw.
Now, Sam has been playing it pretty soft so far, continues to do so. Here comes the turn with another 10.
He was soft there. He just called. You know, I don't know if he shows undue respect to Phil or he just tries to keep him off balance with his plays. It's hard to tell.
2 pair for each player, 9s and 10s for Phil Hellmuth, but 10s and jacks for Sam Grizzle. And now there comes the river. It's a 10 and a full house for both players, but Grizzle has a better hand because he's got 10s full of jacks.
But Phil will bet again. He has thought he had the best hand throughout, and he bets once again. Sam's played this soft.
But he's not going anywhere.
No, he calls and just turns his hand over immediately.
And Phil Hellmuth knows he's been beaten again by Sam Grizzle.
It's just so brutal. They tried to give me all the money with king jack off. And he's back.
This is the problem a lot of us have with Phil. Like John McEnroe in tennis and Pete Weber in bowling, they're great talents, but they don't win with grace and they don't lose with grace.
Oh yeah, he's out playing me. Put 90% of his chips in with king jack offsuit when it couldn't be good.
Yeah.
Ah, you know me, Sam. I always get a little grumpy when somebody beats me a pot like that. Well, you know my heart is pure.
If his heart is pure, he must have had a heart transplant.
Well, he does wear that heart on his sleeve, and losing his cool hurts him at the table, but he's trying to get better, experimenting with a more holistic approach to his game.
If I'm only playing at my best a couple times a year, then I'm not sure that I'm a great poker player. For me to play at my best, meditation helps. It's like I go into myself and I tell myself, look, you are blessed. You just have to expect great things to happen to you. And you really have to believe that. Don't be negative today. You have everything going your way. So I'll kind of meditate thinking about that stuff and just feeling really positive and trying to make sure that I'm in control.
Well, to this point, no big blow-ups, just some pacing and muttering to himself for Phil.
I got a new song for you, Phil. He's a chip mover. He's a chip mover. And here he comes now, la-da-da.
Are you trying to start a war here, Sam?
The needles come out again. Welcome back to Benion's Horseshoe Casino. Action continues at our featured table. Picking it up here on the turn, Tommy Grimes dealt ace-queen. The turn card comes the queen, so he has 2 queens. Looking at Peter Haugen now, he was dealt king-jack.
Come on, man.
And that means he has 2 pair kings and jacks and says he is all in.
Well, Tommy now got to decide whether he wants to call this. Not a big bet.
The show you king will slow you down.
That's an interesting maneuver on Mr. Haugen's part.
Not always appreciated when you talk about your hand in that way. Grimes would need a queen, an ace, or a 10 on the river would give him a straight, so he calls the all-in. And he'll see that Haugen's got 2 pair.
Haugen, you see a 78% chance of winning. Here comes the final card. It's no help, 4 of hearts, and that's going to do it for Tommy Grimes.
Grimes might have felt that he was goaded into calling Haugen's final bet because Haugen talked about his hand.
Explain to him, Phil.
Explain what?
You better be lying when you're talking about your hand in the middle of a pot.
Oh, and here's T.J. Cloutier, who's coming to Grimes' defense.
I wasn't lying. You better be. They'll put a penalty on your ass so fast make your head spin. You tell that man you got a king and you got one.
He didn't actually say that, though.
What did I say, Phil?
He said, I'll show you a king if he'll slow you down. He didn't say, I have a king.
TJ ain't buying that.
I think that could be interpreted pretty much as I have a king.
You want me to argue with you, Skyhawk? I'm not going to argue.
Get a lawyer in. They don't have much gray area.
Well, TJ's a little frustrated, but he's right. You can be penalized in a tournament for several things, for exposing your cards, for acting out of turn, or for talking about your hand. So TJ is right legally here, but he seems a little frustrated.
Oh, and rightly so, Norm. He's fallen below the $10,000 buy-in for the tournament. He needs something to happen, and something to happen quickly if he wants to keep those hopes alive of winning this elusive title.
Well, the action now on Peter Haugen.
Trying to back up his win in the last hand with a couple of kings.
If you want to go back-to-back, kings are a great way to start. He's going to bet out strong.
The action to T.J. Cloutier. And he has ace-jack. Not the greatest hand you want to go in, but he needs something to happen. Like
but it's
said.
okay.
Yeah.
And now he has flopped a pair of jacks, T.J. Cloutier has, with the king still in the lead.
Haugen with a $5,000 bet. He likes his two kings.
I'm all in.
Oh, he wants something to happen quick. T.J. Cloutier does. He goes all in with his two jacks.
Well, it's a good spot for him to go all in. He's not going to be happy when he sees the two kings, but he's short stacked. He flopped the top pair. He's got an ace kicker, so you can't sit there and wait for a monster hand at this point. You got to go all in sooner or later. And he's picked, unfortunately for him, the bad time for it.
How much more is it?
Not much.
Peter Haugen has not officially decided to stay in the hand as of yet.
Well, I can't see him not staying in the hand. The only thing that beats him right now is pocket aces.
I got one chance. You know what it is? 8,400.
He's making it higher drama than you would think. He doesn't have to put that much more in to call the all-in.
Maybe he's got queens. I'll call.
He will. A chance to take out T.J. Cloutier.
Oh, you got me in bad shape. I got ace-jack.
TJ knows he's in bad shape. He's going to need an ace or a jack to come up here. Else it's going to be wait another year and more frustration for one of the greatest players of all time.
Two of spades, no help on the turn. River, three of spades, and that is going to do it.
Guys. How am I going to play it any different in that spot? All right, good luck, guys.
Indeed not. Peter Haugen does take down the great T.J. Cloutier. 20th year at the World Series of Poker. He's going to have to wait for at least year 21 to get a win.
When he talks about his cards, he usually got a big hand. So I'm pretty sure how he's going when he starts talking about them. It's too late then. He'll be back here again next year. Try again.
Welcome back to Las Vegas, Binion's Horseshoe Casino. 394 players started the day. We've lost 100 or so more. Back to action at the featured table.
Dilly Dilly Willy, golf and gin, and little no limit hold'em. That's what we're gonna play next time. 8 hours of each. You go for that? 8 hours of golf, gin, and no limit hold'em?
Sam's the type of guy who doesn't talk you in off a ledge.
Yes or no?
He talks you out onto the ledge.
I aggravate the
Sam is a master at getting people on tilt. But I'm not going to bite into his little games. I've been playing poker for, 18 years. So I'm very good at ignoring this stuff. And in Sam's case, it's easy to ignore because he's so funny. If you're going to let a guy verbally abuse you, and it's going to affect you, you shouldn't even play poker because everyone will try it.
It's amazing more people don't try it on Phil because I do think it affects him.
Absolutely, and it is affecting him today. We're seeing it. So Phil already bets with the Queen 2 suited. Knocks a couple of players out. Sam Grizzle, he's got a pair of 10s, and when one of them is in, the other is in.
They are Tom and Jerry, Phil and Sam.
Soap opera continues here at the featured table. The flop is Queen, Jack, Ace.
And that gives Phil a pair of queens. Sam, of course, with the pocket 10s. Phil will bet.
You see Phil Hellmuth with a 70% chance of winning this hand. Should Should it play out as it does right now?
Sam Grizzle also with a king would get a straight. So a 10 or a king would be good for him.
Turn is a 4. No help.
Phil still ahead.
So Phil looks like he's obviously going to make a bet here, but he can't decide how much.
Well, he's going to make Sam wait. And it's a bit of a grandstand move on his part to sort of play around with Sam's mind, intimidate him a little. He's playing the chip game. Sometimes he takes out a few chips, then he takes out some more chips.
Almost toying right now with Sam Grizzle.
8 more.
8 more, he said. $8,000 bet from Phil Hellmuth with 2 queens.
And that's not good news for Sam Grizzle. He knows just on the board that if Phil has a queen, a jack, or an ace, his pair of 10s is beat. Oh, and he's decided I am beat.
Want to play games?
Oh, look at that.
Show the other one.
Oh, Phil just showed him the 2, not the queen.
That's another lowbrow move from Phil.
Now we're playing the game.
You got it, boy. You got it. Keep going. Keep going.
I just put my whole tournament in one hand there.
Keep going. You can do it. You're right.
You know, if Barry Bonds in the 4th inning did this with fans, he'd be vilified. No one happy when Phil celebrates in that fashion.
Very interesting. And Phil's patting himself on the back necessarily, I think, for his own psyche. So that 89 champion looking pretty good now. 98 champ Scotty Nguyen doing pretty well on the outer tables. Started the day with 60 grand, picking right up where he left off.
You miss all the action over here, baby. Every time you guys walk away, this action here.
Well, it's always action with Scotty. He's from the Doyle Brunson School of Hold'em. Attack, strike fear in their hearts. Put the other guy to the test. That's how Scotty plays.
I know he gonna call me for sure. And then I go take it.
In 1998, when Scotty won the World Championship on the final hand, he told his opponent, Kevin McBride, you call, it's going to be all over, baby. And Kevin called, and it was all over.
Not this time, baby. Not this time, baby.
And the same strategy has worked again, Lon.
Absolutely. Scotty Nguyen, a dominating force at every table in which he plays. Just a few tables over is a legendary Johnny Chan, a back-to-back winner of this event. There is an aura that surrounds Johnny, and everybody pays close attention when he sits down at the table.
They describe me as one of the top poker players in the world. Just play the game perfect.
88 World Series, huh? Johnny Chan. Look at the control.
Eric Seidel cannot win this hand, and yet he doesn't know it. Chan is trying to sucker him in.
Flops the nut straight and has the discipline to wait him out.
Will Eric Seidel fall for the bait? Yes, Chan has him. Johnny Chan, the master, has done it.
He owns him.
Johnny Chan.
Everywhere you go, they say, oh, Johnny Chan, like to meet you. I want your autograph.
Johnny Chan double the fish up. Get it on TV.
I like those kind of things.
So with people now watching his every move, does Johnny buy into his own iconic status?
You know, I'm only human. I try to play perfect every time I play, but sometimes, you know, we make mistakes.
All right, back with Johnny at the table with that familiar orange in front of him. He says it's a lucky charm that he has brought with him ever since winning those back-to-back titles in '87 and '88, the last man to do so.
Boy, that looks like the same orange he had in '87. I mean, that is one foul-looking piece of fruit.
It may be, Norman.
But, you know, Johnny's rep, Lon, it's both a blessing and a curse to him. The blessing is when he bets, most people run home to mama. Nobody really wants to play in a pot with him. But the curse then is that he's not going to win a whole lot of big pots because he doesn't get a whole lot of action. So he's got to be content to sit here and take home a lot of smaller pots.
He started the day pretty low on the totem pole with 27,000 or so in chips. Hasn't improved very much. Meanwhile, at one of the other tables, Chris Jesus Ferguson, talking about low, he only had about 4,000 coming into the day.
And Jesus hasn't had a lot of opportunities today. He's gone all in 5 times, has not gotten action when he's gone all in.
And he's doing it one more time, the 6th time that Chris Jesus Ferguson has had to go all in. He's survived it so far, and right now he could be looking at his last supper. And indeed, that is the end of the day for our 2000 world champion. Chris Ferguson has been eliminated on day 2.
Anytime you bust out of this tournament, it's like getting hit in the stomach. It's really a tough blow, but everybody but one person has to deal with that blow.
Back in Las Vegas, Nevada, Lon McCarron along with Norman Chad at the 2003 World Series of Poker. Back at our featured table, and the soap opera continues. Phil Hellmuth and Sam Grizzle and the rest of the gang. Phil with a king 9. And his chip count approaching 75,000.
Here comes Sam Grizzle with a pair of aces.
He has been catching the cards.
Always against Phil.
Phil calls the bet.
Phil, man, you'd make a hell of a head-up match, I tell you that. You played every pot I've raised.
He has.
Huh?
He has.
I mean, you never look down and see like a 7-deuce offsuit? You just always got the nuts?
They should get their own dealer and go play by themselves at another table.
Oh, here comes the flop. It is 4, 7, and 5.
No help either way.
No.
Phil will check.
Playing it soft again.
Well, I don't know what he's doing here. If he checks as he did, he might be looking to trap Phil. Hope Phil catches something. And Phil does catch a pair of 9s now and bets. 3,000.
3.
He's going for, wow, he's only calling. This surprises me.
And the river card is an 8 of diamonds. Again, no help.
And the check showing you the aces are best. Phil still thinks he's now best with a pair of 9s. He's not.
He cannot resist betting against Sam Grizzle.
Now, Sam here can't raise, I don't think, because Phil could have a straight with a 6. He doesn't know what he has.
Again, Phil throws the cards, and Sam throws them right back.
Touche.
But it is Sam Grizzle's hand to be won once again.
I wouldn't want to see Phil's insides right now.
That's Phil Hellmuth over there. You know, if it had been you, I'd have put 10 million in.
Oh, sorry.
Get your money ready. I'm raised at 2,400 this time.
I made a couple mistakes against you tonight. I'll be happy if I don't make any more mistakes.
I'll be happy if you make one more big one.
I won't make a big one. You might make a big one for all your chips. You might move into me when I have the nuts. But I'm not laying for you or anything. I'm just playing.
Me too. Just remember, Phil, you can't win the tournament today, son.
This is better than the Sopranos.
Sam, you're the one playing the 8-9 offsuits.
Phil, you're playing every hand. You mean you got aces or kings every hand?
What's wrong with that?
Nothing if you can get it.
If you're a Hold'em champion, that's the way it is.
Or if you're a goofball that just catches cards. I heard that in the back room. I was down laughing. They started laughing in the back room.
They heard you out there, Norm. Be careful.
Sam, you're a funny guy.
I am a funny guy.
Oh, despite all the chips that Sam Grizzle has taken from Phil Hellmuth, this former champion still in pretty good stead. And that's really the key. Survive and move on to the next day. A lot of our chip leaders are doing it with their own style. Scotty Nguyen up to about 180,000 and lets everybody know about it.
Good game. I try to calm myself down. Just talk to myself. Play your style. I always throw away. I talk him into it.
Iranian-born Amir Vahedi is taking a more relaxed approach.
It goes way beyond the card that you play. It's about authority. It's about emotional control. It's about the way we act. That's our communication. That's poker communication. No more action with no legs.
Someone who has seen a lot of action on this day is Brian Watkins, a cop from San Francisco. On day 1, he was dead money, but today he's redefining the term police brutality.
I don't regard these chips as real dollars. I just throw them in and see where it rolls. Now I'm going all the way, brother.
With over 200,000, Watkins has now become the big bully on the block. Howard Lederer hasn't seen the final table here in 16 years. His face is of a man who is short-stacked.
I'm going to continue my streak of bad play.
But looks are deceiving. He is among the chip leaders right now.
You can only play as well as you can play at your table, at your situation. You can't worry about the other leaders.
But someone he has worried about his entire life is little sister Annie Duke, who was taught how to play by Howard.
Did you see that, you guys? He folded.
Golden age of diamonds because they never changed it.
Annie wins by combining her womanly charm along with her brother Howard's advice.
I play generally about the same whether I'm winning or losing. And there's not a lot of poker players who are capable of that.
So far, that strategy is serving her well. So a lot of players making big moves out on the floor. But back at our featured table, Sam Grizzle has made a nice move of his own by playing some pretty good poker against Phil today.
Yeah, well, in poker line, you can go from chicken to chicken feathers in a hurry. And let's see how well Sam holds up under the heat.
Ben Akiva has not played a lot of hands today, but with a couple of jacks, I think we might see him stick around.
I'm all in.
And he is all in. Well, there's a man who wants to make a move quick.
Yeah, he doesn't have much left. As you look around the table, you'll see new faces from earlier. As players get knocked out, players get moved around to different tables. And so we see new people coming into the main table. The action now to Sam. A 6 and a 7.
But suited.
But suited, but one man's all in, not much money. There's not a whole lot of upside here for Sam, so.
29.50.
I don't know what he's thinking, but he's going 29.50. Does he want to call 29.50? I don't know why.
Oh, why not? He's been bulletproof all day, catching some great cards. Maybe his 6-7 are as good as a couple of aces.
Nah, don't call. I'll give you some action.
There's a gambler.
I would have preferred if you didn't.
You got me.
Well, Sam sees the cards that Ben Akiva has.
I got 2 unders.
He knows it's useless.
2 unders and virtually 0 chance.
Here comes the flop. It is 2 ace and king.
No help for Sam.
A king on the turn.
No help for Sam.
A 3 on the river.
No help.
Listen, what do you want me to tell him? He asked me a question, I gave him my honest answer. I rather he didn't call. Now I'm glad, but that's a different story.
When you said it, though, everybody here thought you had
I wouldn't have gone all in with
They won't let you win a pot, will they? You finally won a pot and everybody said something.
Thank you very much.
I tell you this, nice
When
hand.
you won, I was happy for you. Why are you so upset now?
I wouldn't have been upset, but you said you wished I hadn't have called like
You
you had
asked
nothing.
me, I said I would have rather you didn't call.
I don't know why Sam's so upset. He went in with nothing.
This is a table in need of group therapy.
I tried to do the dirty work, Phil, and got broke.
Nice little fights here on the table.
Sam Grizzle spreading his cheer throughout Benion's Horseshoe Casino. At the World Series of Poker, it's not all about who you are, but where you're from. Guys named Miami John, Minneapolis Jim, and Oklahoma Johnny. But perhaps the most recognizable of them all is Amarillo Slim, a true living legend.
Remember when you played tag when you was a kid? Somebody was always it. I'm always it. When I come in, everybody's intent is to beat me a pot. It doesn't matter if it's this minute, just so they can go home and tell Mama, I thrashed that old Slim.
Slim barely survived day one, and his position today has not improved much.
10,000 all in.
Slim has gone all in, and the same kid who earlier knocked out Jesus is looking to knock off God. Amarillo's chances were slim and none all day long, and Slim just left the tournament. So the oldest living champion has made his exit, but back at the featured table, the youngest ever champion, Phil Hellmuth, is still looking to make a big move today.
And this is Tony D, who recently has moved on to the main table. 13th in the championship 2 years ago, 8th last year. Phil Hellmuth quite familiar with Tony D, both 2 of the top tournament players in the world.
Tony D comes right out with his Jack-10 and bets. It goes to Phil Hellmuth now and what he wants to do.
He's bringing those chips out. You don't know how many he's going to play, but he's definitely going to play the hand once he brings those chips out. And with a pair of 7s, puts him a slight favorite, he calls.
Here comes the flop. It is King 4 Jack. And so Tony D now with a pair of jacks. And he checks. You surprised on the check?
No, because Tony D might think that Phil has a king in the hole, and with a king, he'd be ahead. But Phil has come out and bet with his pair of sevens. And Tony D calls with the jacks.
Tony D, you see a 90% shot at winning this hand. Here comes the turn card. It is another jack, and Tony D with 3 jacks now. And he's going to check again.
He's checking to Phil, and he's probably looking to trap Phil. Phil probably going to think he's got the best hand, of course, with the pocket sevens. And again, the little chip dance starting.
And Phil does bet.
How much you bet, Phil?
7,000.
It's a 7,000 bet for Phil Hellmuth. And Tony D now plays the chip dance himself.
15.
And Tony does come back over the top of Phil. He's in command of the hand. He has 3 jacks. Phil just with 2 pair.
And that is going to force Phil out of his seat.
Yeah, well, Phil pretty much likes to be the table captain. He likes to be the intimidator, the man who controls the action. So he stands up, hitches the belt, says, "What, you going to raise me? Maybe now I'm going to fold. Who knows?" Only a 7 on the river would give Phil Hellmuth a victory here. That would give him a 7s full house over jacks. When Phil asks that question, it's another one of his favorite intimidation maneuvers.
440 something, almost 45, 40 to 45. You want me to count?
No. It's like he puts the other guy in the defensive.
I'm raising.
Oh,
wow.
That is a gutsy play from Phil Hellmuth.
He apparently is putting Tony D on a draw of some type, or maybe he thinks Tony D is bluffing because he's raising into the much better hand.
The action to Tony D now. And he throws away 3 jacks and a $60,000 pot based on Phil Hellmuth's re-raise. That was monster.
Yeah, I guess Tony D thought in his head that Phil must have pocket kings.
You could beat aces up?
Well, they're both lying there. Phil doesn't have aces up, and then Tony D said he couldn't beat it. Poker players love to lie. If a poker player told you that the sun sets in the west, I believe it sets in the east.
So it's time for the dinner break here at Binion's. As the players fold, they will move away from the table to get some extra time. Tony D is in the hand. He's found a king and a 6. Sam Grizzle will go in also with a pair of 2s and a 53% shot at winning this hand.
Phil's staying to watch us.
He points out the Phil's going nowhere. Look, with arms crossed, the table captain's going to watch it through the break.
Now the flop comes with 3-9-3.
It's heads up. Tony D was in the hand already, had nothing. He's going to bet with nothing here. Sam quickly calling with, he of course has 2 pair with the 3s on board.
And the turn comes 6, and so Tony D now with a pair of 6s and 3s.
So he's got the higher 2 pair. He keeps looking over at Sam's shortening stack, and he's going to bet.
Sam, I think, was just hoping to get away quick.
By the way, Phil has no reason to be here, except he might want to, learn something from how they play, or I think he just wants to see Sam go down again if possible. He's got no reason to be there except to just kind of irritate, aggravate, and intimidate.
That is scary.
Sam's trying to talk himself into this hand, into calling it.
Oh, he's gone in before on weak hands, and he's been hurt by it. And there's a great potential for that right here.
He played strong hands early on, and of late he has played not as strong hands. Phil apparently doesn't want rest, doesn't want food. He just wants to watch Sam. That felt like a nervous moment on a first date, the way they just looked at each other.
Spookiest thing I ever seen. Take it.
Well, he does relinquish the hand to Tony D. Sam Grizzle in the midst of a losing streak. Phil was there to watch it all the way. Tony D, on the other hand, winning some of the money he lost to Phil Hellmuth. Welcome back to Binion's Horseshoe Casino in the 2003 World Series of Poker, our featured table. And that man, Sam Grizzle, having some trouble, a run of bad cards lately, and he's down to a short stack.
That's worse than a short stack. That's breadcrumbs, Lon.
Tony D kicks it in. But Sam is going to play.
And on the button, Mr. Phil Hellmuth is going to play with the ace-3 offsuit. Sam actually, this time he's got king-jack suited, as opposed to the king-jack offsuit he started the day with.
And he'll call.
Good luck, Sam.
Thank you. A lot of history between these guys today and throughout the years. The flop comes 10-9-5.
Hellmuth still with the high hand, but Sam has an inside straight draw now. With a queen, he would make a straight.
How much have left?
The answer would be not much.
Check.
Phil probably counted it before Sam did. Comes the turn card, 8 of clubs.
And that gives Hellmuth a flush draw now. Nut flush draw with the ace of clubs.
Check, check. The river is a 5 of clubs, and there is the flush for Phil Hellmuth. You see the check indicates he does have the best hand.
Sam has nothing.
He's going to bet 3,000 on it, though.
Well, he's bluffing. He's hoping to take it down right now. He's hoping that maybe Phil Hellmuth had like ace high, which he does, but he doesn't know it's a club, and that Phil would lay it down. Unfortunately, Phil Hellmuth has the flush.
How much have left?
Again, he asks Sam Grizzle how much he has. Twisting the knife. Extending the moment.
How much was the bet?
And I mean, Sam looks like a man waiting to be given a cigarette and a blindfold right now.
Oh, Sam. 3?
Sam wants him to go away.
Please let this be over.
I have the nuts. I guess I'd just call it. I don't have the nuts or I'd raise. I have the ace of clubs, so.
Good.
That's one more nail in the coffin. He cannot beat the flush, of course.
Good hand for Phil Hellmuth.
Very nice.
But Sam Grizzle is not done. He does have some chips left, so he'll have to hang around. You just wonder, did Phil do that on purpose? Not draw him out anymore?
Phil has no idea what Sam's holding. The only thing that could have beat him that time was a full house or a straight flush. But he just called him, and again, the execution is delayed.
It's always fun to see if I get ace-king or ace-jack, you know, or king-king or ace-ace.
Now look who's doing all the talking now, Norm.
Funny because I'm losing, right?
No, it's not at all. I wish you would. That can make my day more happier. After you haven't talked for a long time.
How you going to talk? You lose every mother pot.
Well, say what you will about Sam Grizzle, but he is the life of the party, for good or for bad.
Huh?
But now it's the Phil Hellmuth show.
And he's enjoying the show, winning another pot. He's up to about 132,000 now.
Well, boys, if I get broke, it's been a pleasure playing with y'all.
A less than enthusiastic response from the table.
All right, I'm all in.
Well, Sam Grizzle with a final shot across the bow. Queen 10, he's all in.
And he's resigned to his fate now, going all in with that.
What do you got, 28, Sam?
Phil Hellmuth is going to join him. If Sam Grizzle's going down in one hand, Phil Hellmuth wants to be in it.
Oh, they've been together so long today, Phil wouldn't miss the burial if he can be in on it.
Got anything?
Just ace 10.
Oh my God, my favorite card.
Yeah, he's way behind here. They both share 10, so it's Phil's ace against Sam's queen.
Now, the Queen 10 was Robert Varconi's favorite cards last year. This year, it does not seem to hold the same luck. Here comes the flop. A couple of 7s and a 5.
One nail in Sam's coffin.
10 of clubs.
He's going to need a queen to win this hand.
Queen.
If a 10 came on the river, they would actually split the pot, but he needs a queen to win.
He doesn't get it. It is a 3 of diamonds, and Phil Hellmuth has won the pot. And he's taken down his arch nemesis, Sam Grizzle.
Just happen to have a 10 kicker, right?
No, we need. Now we need to play.
All right. Good luck.
So the ride is over for Sam Grizzle. To his credit, he's taken it pretty well.
I'm five-handed on
Bad run of cards.
The big winner, though, at our main table today, Phil Hellmuth, holding steady at 12th place overall, but perhaps more importantly to him, he took down Sam Grizzle. So there was a lot of action here today on day 2 at Binion's. Two-time champion Johnny Chan made it through the day. After a few late all-ins, Chan is still alive and in the hunt for a record-tying 3rd World Series title.
Hope to see you on the final day. And the final table, of course.
While Annie Duke may be treading water at 47th, she remains the only woman left in the tournament. A nice side note, but like the rest of the field, she has her eyes set on the leaders. Among them is her brother, Howard Lederer. He was a big mover today, going from 88th overall to 4th. Phil Ivey started and finished the day in 6th place. He's at 163,000. Scotty Nguyen continues to smile because he's in 3rd place overall, 214,000. The amateur Brian Watkins finished in 2nd place, but the chip leader by more than 50,000 is Amir Vahedi with over 300,000. So just 3 days remain until the $2.5 million prize is handed out. For Norman Chad, this is Lon McCarron inviting you to tune in next time for more of the 2003 World Series of Poker.